Morning, friends. Hearty welcome to the next edition of the VDMA CEO's Thought Leadership Series. And pleasure for me today to welcome Mr. Pradeep Patil, Managing Director, Trumpf India Pvt Limited. Pradeep is a BE Mechanical from University of Pune and has done his MTech in Manufacturing Management from BITS Pilani. Friends, Pradeep comes with a rich background of metal cutting machine tools and was associated with the Mazak Group in India for 17 years before joining Trumpf in 2016. Pradeep has contributed tremendously to the metal cutting and sheet metal industry in the country in the last 25 plus years. Pradeep, hearty welcome to you and pleasure to have you with us today for this edition of the VDMA CEO's Thought Leadership Series.
Thank you, Mr. Nath, for this generous introduction and opportunity to share my views on VDMA platform.
Right. Pradeep, if we look at the last 16 to 18 months, we've had the pandemic, in fact, crisis due to the pandemic. Companies have had in this difficult period also to redefine the organizational goals and, in fact, prioritize the safety, health and safety of the employees, as well as build a sustainable business continuity plan. So can you highlight some of the initiatives that have been taken by Trumpf in Germany, as well as here in India in this regard, Pradeep?
Thank you, Mr. Nath, for this question. At Trumpf, be it global, be it in India, we strongly and firmly believe to operate with the philosophy, employee well-being and customer first as our priority. We were convinced with these two value pillars would drive the business continuity. As you know, severe pandemic hitting the world nearly after 100 years was indeed like unforeseeable tsunami for every one of us. And most businesses across the world had to be in standstill state in the beginning. Therefore, it was a big challenge for leaders to take their business forward under such critical and uncertain times. Many of our customers had to align with humanity need and engaged into essential goods and services. Therefore, we were also fortunate to contribute by supporting our customers indirectly. While driving with these two value pillars, it was essential for Trumpf to critically look at non-personal cost and personal cost as a cautious approach. And I must appreciate all our employees as they have been driving this initiative and we were quite successful. Yeah, as a partners in manufacturing efforts, we at Trumpf, while staying aligned with state protocols, made policy change in our operations through backward integration of complementary services on which we depended, like warehousing logistics, to be available virtually through preparation on personal front, equipped also with PPE kits and ensuring travel safety through self-driven vehicles, even for interstate, to be available at site for our customers. And that was the initiative we had to take, during the first wave. Our field colleagues have been our warriors, and we are really proud of them as they were supporting our customers whenever there was a need. Right. We initiated work from home in the beginning, way back, in the month of March. And this concept was quite new for our employees, and it was a new experience and also challenging too. But our team was quick enough to establish infrastructure of work from home, and they have adapted it quickly. It was one of our focus to engage our employees through a learning process, through virtual trainings, and well prepared for the future during these uncertain times. This engagement also added immense value to motivate and to keep their morale high as possible. All these activities to keep business going, being dynamic to changing scenario, was steered by our task force formed for the state crisis management. We internally termed as Trumpf India's Niti Aayog, with representation from employees from different functions, and this was quite successful because they were driving this initiative. Similarly, we had a task force which was anchored by senior leadership in Germany, because the situation was quite changing and it was essential that we aligned with changing dynamics. That is how we were successful even last year. In the current year, which was closed in June 2021, we had a growth in order intake and also in sales.
Compliments, Pradeep. I think that is really nice that the whole management was so proactive, and also very interesting to know about the task force that you set up in India as well as the task force in Germany. You also mentioned about the customers, Pradeep. If we look at the customers now, we had the lockdown 1, then we had lockdown 2, where I think movement of man and material was difficult. So during these periods where it was difficult to really have a physical contact, how did Trumpf manage to keep the contact going with the existing customers, as well as you said business grew, so there must have been some new customers also acquired during this period?
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, driving business with technology has been at the core of Trumpf, which has really helped us to connect our customers virtually. During the first wave, virtual drive was on priority when the man movement was restricted due to state protocols. We strongly believe also in empowering our customers with digital tools, and most of our machines are equipped with a necessary interface to connect them virtually. This was one of our agenda to support our customers virtually when man movement was restricted. Moreover, our customers also supported with their understanding, and we could increase awareness of digital tools like smart glasses, TVA, which is Trumpf Virtual Assistant, and there are other smart functions which has really helped us to support our customers strongly. And there was a good connect with our customers. Be it virtually, we actually continued to support our customer in a hybrid way, because whenever there is a necessity, our technicians are visiting. But most of the times, I would say 65 to 70% of the times, whenever there is a need, we are supporting our customers virtually, basically because of technology and the digital tools available with us for our customers. However, as I said, it was important complying with the framework of state protocols. We also sought necessary permissions for the movement of parts and people wherever it was essential, and virtual support was not possible. We also encouraged self-drive mission to the site in case of pressing needs. Yeah, that was during first lockdown. As a part of service strategy, we have been having call center, as I already said. That is one of our focus, where 60 to 65% was the percentage we had in past. We are supporting our customer, which has increased post lockdown or during first lockdown, or even today we have 65 to 70% of our customers getting support virtually. So for spare parts also, it was important that we deliver spare parts in time during lockdown. So we extended working need of back-end supportive organizations, thus bridge the gap which was necessary during the adverse times. We had a great support, of course, from our associate partners during these difficult times. Yeah.
Right. So I think there were a lot of efforts undertaken from the Trumpf side in this difficult period, Pradeep. Pradeep, going forward, when we look at the human-machine partnership, what we are talking in future, there will be much more closer cooperation amongst humans and machines. Now, this would require also a different mindset and skills, actually, to thrive in future, where social, cognitive and technological skills would be in high demand. What are your thoughts here, Pradeep? How can we get this combination correct, Pradeep?
Absolutely, Mr. Nath, what we used to think and what we think, how we used to drive business, how we are driving business, it has changed a lot. I mean, since last 18 to 19 months, the pandemic has changed the whole spectrum of skill that would be needed moving forward. Leveraging technology once again with agile setup and new learning, essentially through unlearning methodology for effective exhibitions that would be needed moving forward. Uh, Another, the important topic is smart manufacturing. Seems to be the way forward, uh, not only academic or for science purpose. The companies are ready to adopt these technology value additions in manufacturing and supply industry to deliver the solution. And this is an approach which is beyond product approach. It's an approach of complete solution delivery which would be needed. Workforce within the applicable setups needs this alignment and investments, in competency to build up if it is not available with organizations. Because it's a new approach. What we used to operate, how we used to operate, how we are operating, it has changed, and it's a necessity of the time. That's what I've explained to you. And the monotonous jobs that were being handled by manpower shall be replaced with new technology functions so that the manpower can be used for better value addition. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that certainly is very important, Pradeep, because the whole concept of closer cooperation or collaboration between humans and machine is actually to enhance the capability of the human workforce also. And as you correctly said, it is actually going to help humans to be more productive and perhaps increase the quality aspect also. Um, Also, Pradeep, if we look at the some of the schemes of the Indian government, we had the production linked incentive. In fact, it's been a scheme announced by the Indian government during the pandemic, where 13 sectors have been identified. Uh, Now, one of the aims of the PLI scheme is also to help in exports from India. Uh, in our scenario, Pradeep, in our manufacturing scenario, actually India has a lot of the MSMEs. We have a huge number of MSMEs. So in your opinion, Pradeep, how would the MSMEs benefit from this PLI scheme? Would it also see a growth in the activities of MSMEs or they're scaling up their activities? Do you see that happening with the implementation of the PLI scheme?
Mr. Nath, MSME is very, very important sector. As you know, there is MSME contributes in double digit to the country's GDP. Therefore, it is important that we boost the MSME sector. So PLI production linked incentive, in my opinion, is innovative way to boost sentiments in the manufacturing space and certainly a driver to attract investments. At large, PLI will be a catalyst to increase contribution of manufacturing to 25% as a part of 5 trillion ambitious target and a vision of Indian government. As you know, initially PLI was limited for few sectors, but I see and rightly as you said, 13 it is available for 13 sectors like IT, hardware, mobile, electronics, pharmaceutical, medical. Therefore, I'm convinced that this will attract investments and will be a backbone to boost MSME sector's growth. It would not only help as a booster to manufacturing, as it would create opportunity to scale up the rudimentary existing setup to more efficient setups to improve the turnaround on investments. Yeah. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Right. Sorry, the connection went a little bad,
There is
Pradeep.
some,
So
yeah, very
the
simple,
last part I could not follow what you mentioned. That
no, what I
so
said.
you mentioned it will help to scale up the MSMEs. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You know, what I said, it is not to attract new investments, but also it will help us to scale up the existing setups to operate in an efficient way.
Right. So you're optimistic, Pradeep, that the PLI will help the manufacturing
Absolutely.
industry and the MSMEs to go forward in India.
Yes.
Right. Pradeep, also, if we look at the journey of Trumpf in India,
Yes.
how do you foresee, you have completed 15 years of Trumpf in India, and how do you foresee the next phase for Trumpf in India in the next, what is the vision for the next 5 to 10 years for Trumpf in India, Pradeep?
We are quite optimistic, Mr. Nath, to grow with a CAGR of 20% in next 3 years at least. That's what, by 2025. And moving forward also, I'm sure we will continue with this growth.
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, additional
and the
additional
interaction with the
additional investments in semiconductor space, be it solar, be it semiconductor, electronics, mobile. That is really helping us because we contribute with our lasers in those segments.
Right. Pradeep, perhaps coming to the last question for today, of course, the pandemic has put a lot of pressure. Yeah, Pradeep, sorry. I think the connection is a little poor. It's going on and off. So coming to the last question.
Yeah, no issues. Mr. Nath, as a leader, it is very important that alignment with changing dynamics, and by keeping employees and customers at epicenter would greatly help to sell through with the success. And that is extremely important in these difficult times, and also moving forward. While driving businesses, we need to leverage ability within the team with necessary empowerment and motivation. You know, like we had core team which was formed at Trumpf India, and we termed as Niti Aayog of Trumpf India, but with enough confidence and courage that would be needed, you know, to sell through. Number three, back up the team by being with them to instill right attitude as one team, one goal also is very essential. Yeah.
So in these difficult times, Pradeep, I think these are good tips, and I'm sure with these attitude, the positive attitude, the company has moved ahead in these difficult times also. And on behalf of the German Engineering Federation, Pradeep, wishing you and the team of Trumpf in India a lot of success for the future. And I'm sure you're on the right track, and success will be with Trumpf in India, and looking forward to good business for Trumpf in India also, Pradeep.
Thank you, Mr. Nath, for this opportunity. Namaskar. Take care.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. Stay well, Pradeep.
Thank you. Have a nice day, Mr. Nath. Yeah.